Now we live. Ooh, 11 docs. 11 documented viewers. 10, 12. There we are. I can see you. I can see me. We is live. How y'all doing? Can y'all hear us? 18 in effect, 10 likes. Can I get 8 more likes, please? On GP for the 1 year anniversary of our show. 1 year right now. Today is our anniversary for the show.
Actually, it was Saturday.
1 year Saturday was the anniversary for our show. But we got some special stuff for y'all tonight. Gang, gang! Man, I'm so excited. I got the heat too, yeah, y'all. I got the heat. I'm bringing it. Yeah, I'm bringing it. 1 year anniversary this week, y'all. Shout out, man, for real. 80, man, 80s, 82. If we get to a Husky, man, I'm playing the music. If I get to a Husky, I'm playing the music. But I'm going to tell you where I'm playing the music from if you hit a Husky faster. I'll tell you where I'm playing the music from if you get that Husky for me, y'all. Can we get to 100 subs? We lost 2 subs, man. Can I get to a Husky, man? I want to play this music from this new platform. It's so sweet. It's so melodious. It's so awesome. I think it might be the sweetest sounds you ever heard in your lifetime. We back, man. We've been on this track. 91. Can I get there, please? Can I get a gang, please? Can I get gang, please? 3, please. Gang, please. Can I get 3, please?
He said you sound muffled.
Muffled, baby. I'm living in full, like, 3D right now, y'all.
What's that fan?
Oh, it's the fan. I'm turning it down, y'all. I'm going to turn it down. Daisy, you should have hit the fan, girl. Daisy, you tripping.
Because you're pointing in that direction of the mic, so it's the same issue, Bethany.
Okay.
Bethany's, thank you, Bethany.
Okay. Y'all, sorry. I get tired of these lights. We got the music, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to play us the sweetest, most melodious sounds your body's ever heard. And for a special treat tonight, you know where we're going to play it from? Maybe, Miss BB, will you please tell me where we're going to play this from, please?
Spotify.
What's our Spotify account?
Mr. Brando's Patreon.
Woo!
Brando's podcast, excuse me.
Mr. Brando's podcast on Spotify got the sweetest sounds that you ever heard. Woo! We mainstream now, y'all. We on Spotify. You want to catch us on Mr. Brando's Spotify? No, Mr. Brando's podcast on Spotify. Yeah, we going 8 big time, y'all. They couldn't stop us, baby. You know what I'm saying? We went crazy, baby. We went mainstream when everybody thought we was just chilling. Baby took us there, man. 1 year, all kinds of platforms. We going nuts. Man, I'm playing this straight from the podcast. Mr. Brando's theme music. Stream it crazy. Let it play in your car. Let it play in your bike while you're exercising, doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Support a king and a queen. Support the movement. Just, you know what I'm saying? We appreciate the love. We gonna put podcasts up here to let you know it's real. So if you're just doing your thing, you can just really go out there. You want to catch some old stuff. Maybe you missed something. You know what I'm saying? You want to go out there and just hear it while you're exercising, working, doing your thing.
Melodious.
Oh, I
sounds your eardrums have ever heard.
Oh, Lord, geez. Oh, Lord.
Around.
I can't play that because that's Spotify.
Well, you got to turn it off or it's just going to keep playing in the background.
I know that. I just turned it off. Now, I'm just trying to tell you.
It's not turned off.
It's turned off. I know what I'm doing. I know Apple. Okay. Thank you. Anyway, I'm trying to tell y'all. Oh, yeah, chat revenue. Thank you. $10. Who is that?
Bethany.
Bethany, thank you so much. Go check out Spotify, y'all. Join Spotify. It's free. You can go check out old videos. Right now we only have 2 up, but go check them out. We're chopping them up. So if you don't have time to listen to our show and you want to hear the news, the real news that's out there, you want to understand what's going on, you want to hear something that's informative as well as educational, and maybe hear a few Q&As and maybe hear some stuff that, you know what, you need to get cleared up as far as your own investment is concerned. Thank you, Bethany. Go out there and do that, because I really believe that Spotify will be one of those platforms for us that will help a lot of new people as well as old people that are in the investment say, you know what, I didn't catch that before, but I'm catching it now. Does that make sense? Man, almost 200 people in this live on our 1 year anniversary week. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Our 1 year anniversary, thanks to all y'all. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Now, you know what I did forget? My phone.
Oh.
We'll have to do the news without my phone tonight, okay? Is it okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, no phone tonight, y'all, so no bombs. Will, thank you, man. Thank you. 1 year anniversary, getting love everywhere. Will, Bethany, thank you. Thank you. You know what, y'all? I love the love, but y'all love us and love Spotify. This is the mics. Hold on.
What's wrong?
Someone said the mic. I didn't know. Anyway, now.
Can you guys hear us okay? Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us okay.
Thumbs up if you can hear us okay.
Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you, Raymond.
Oh, that's cute. How did you do that?
I don't know how you did that, but that's cute.
That is cute. Okay, good. So
y'all hear us? Okay, good.
Okay, good.
So we've done this a 1 year anniversary. Miss BB launched a new platform on 1 year anniversary for people that are having trouble, like, you know, catching up on the news. We're on Spotify, Mr. Brando's podcast. We're live and in effect, but I think it's befitting on this anniversary edition. 1 year. Miss BB, will you please introduce yourself?
I am April Beebe, and I want to say thank you to everybody. It's been a lot of hard work, but I thank you guys for hanging in there with us and making it to our 1 year anniversary. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Gang, gang.
I got to take it back old school. Like old school. Can I take it back old school? Can I get thumbs up for old school? Can I get a thumbs up for gang? Can I get thumbs up for gang? Because I'm about to yell in your microphone. Old school, like when we first started. So turn down your microphones, because Mr. Brando's about to blare through your eardrums. Daisy, get ready. You ready, Daisy?
I hope it sounds okay for Spotify.
Woo!
Fire!
And that's Daisy.
Oh my gosh.
And welcome to the status of the reinstatement of the Iraqi Dinar IQD, our 1 year anniversary, and that's real. I won't do it again. Thank you guys so much for being real. I won't yell in y'all's eardrums again. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Hi, Darcy.
I learned better. I heard early on.
Hey, sis. Happy birthday, sis.
Shout out my sis. Ginger Love, I told her I was going to do this. Shout out my sis.
She's 31 today.
She's 26. Don't lie.
Ginger T. Marie. Shout out Ginger T. Marie. It's her birthday.
Shout out my gang on our 1 year anniversary. Shout out y'all for real for hanging in there with me every day, man. We've gone through a lot, man. We've been up, we've been down, we've been sideways, but you know what? We've been here. I thank you. I told y'all what got me here was the news, policy, trade, laws, and that's what's going to keep us here, right?
Right.
So let's do the news, okay? Is that cool with you?
You saw mind over matter. You said
mind over matter. Salute a king or a queen. Real talk. Man, for real, man. I love y'all. Okay, let's do the news. I'm a little emotional doing the news, okay? So just hold on.
Okay, so you got that.
So
okay,
you got this? Okay. Whew, okay, let's do this first. Parliamentary Finance Committee. Now, we're going to change up a few things, okay? So the Parliamentary Finance Committee on the House of Representatives revealed on Saturday, December 7th, the budget law for 2020 for the Iraqi state law will soon reach the Parliament. So everybody's speculating on when the Parliament will get the budget. Now, I don't think that as important as what I'm going to tell you right here. And because of the way I saved this, it's messing me up. So give me just 2 seconds. Okay. On legality, they must have a budget because without a budget, they can't account for the civilians, right? All the people in the budget are accounted by the citizens. Mm-hmm. So I call them civilians. So what it really means to you guys is sending a budget law to a caretaker government. Now, after accepting the resignation of the Prime Minister, Abdul al-Mahdi, Parliament, the government has become a caretaker. We know that, right? Mm-hmm. But because that was written before that he resigned, it's not really a bad thing for us. Does that make sense? Because we knew that. It went into effect because it was written beforehand. Okay? So everybody tripping about the budget and what's in it, I'll dispel some rumors and myths in just a second about how much is allocated to certain groups or whatever, right? But the main thing to understand is that it's going to go before Parliament because it's a citizen need. The civilians got to have this budget because it accounts for them certain civilian rights that they got to have. Insert bomb right here. Okay?
Insert bomb right here.
You can put a bomb right there.
Okay.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Now,
I'll just put those bombs right there.
Okay. Now, the U.S. put sanctions on certain militia leaders in Iraq. Now, I told everybody because of OFAC, there was people out there that were talking about they were putting sanctions against the whole country, right? Mm-hmm. But they weren't. What they were putting them against is certain people inside of the country that were doing bad things. And I don't want to see sanctions against people like Nur al-Maliki and Amiri and stuff like that. But to chop the head of the snake off, you got to start with the top echelon people, which were what? Iranian militia people. And that's what they did. They put forth sanctions against people like Wazi al-Qaza and Latif al-Qaza. They're the brothers, right? They're in the province of Iraq, have been involved in widespread forced disappearances, abductions, killings, and torture. Now, from them, it goes to Hussein Fay al-Azi al-Alami. Now, he's an Iran-based militia leader tasked with other senior militia commanders in suppressing late 2019 protests in Iraq. He was part of the committee in IRGC-QF proxies that approved the use of lethal violence against protesters for the purpose of public intimidation. Now, these are people that have already known to do bad things against protesters. It's not like when I told you guys earlier on that I truly believe that Iraq was being attacked by Iranian militia. Mm-hmm. These are the people that the U.S. decided to put sanctions against first, as well as Maliki, as well as Amiri. Those people are on the list next. What's happening right now is they're attacking the head of the snake. Mm-hmm. Without them getting the bad people out, which everybody talks about getting Iranian influence out of there, then there's no way that you're ever going to be able to see the influence totally dissolve out of Iraq. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay. Now, Karimis Farhan al-Karanj al-Isawi. Now, he's a millionaire who enjoys significant power on regional and international levels. According to one of the senior Iraqi government officials, his influence is mostly due to his willingness to ability to use his wealth to bribe others. One thing that you're going to see the Iraqi government go straight after is bribery. Because one thing that people in Iraq don't have is wealth. So you can attack a middle wealth manager and say, look, if you get this contract through, I'll give you $1 million dinar or $2 million dinar. You're talking about the livelihood of people that don't have anything, right? And then global magistracy. Building upon Global Magistracy Human Rights Accountability Act on December, President signed EO 13818 blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. That's what those people are being charged with. Because you didn't have to kill them or dome them or put forth objects that were going to blow up and blow up in their head and do things to them that weren't going to allow them to have a natural life. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You did things to those people that were not right because you wanted to put forth bodily harm, inflict fear in the Iraqi people. You see what I'm saying? That's the Iranian influence. It's not based upon anything other than fear. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you got to look at it from the standpoint of who's right, who's wrong, and who's trying to put people in a situation that they're afraid to stand up for what's right. And that's what the protests are about. What's right, putting forth your own electoral college, having a vote, having a say, having your own opportunity to be involved, and without fear of persecution. The same sort of liberties that you and I share in this country right here. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, on Thursday last week, there was a committee that was going to open up an investigation into the auction of the currency. There's a lot of penalties involved in the area of the auction. Parliamentary Integrity Committee, especially after complications of the law where you get this, is directed towards opening the currency auctions in the central bank. The chairman of the committee will form a team of members of the House of Representatives to open an investigation into the auction currency. Enough said. You got to understand, these people don't want what's going on to keep happening. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? They're not in this for everybody to be stealing because the rich keep getting rich, but no one else is getting rich. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It would be different if everybody was, reaping the benefits of what's going on right now, but that's not happening. So what people got to understand is that as Iraq grows as a federal democracy and things become solvent and things become absolutely transparent and things become, I don't want to put it, indoctrined into a sovereign nation, laws and policy, and the ability to enforce those laws and policy that are going to keep them at the forefront of what's going to keep them whole. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
See my back on there. Sorry.
Now,
I'm trying to fix the sound. They said that you sound static. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm hoping that helps you guys. I'm sorry.
The arrest warrant has been issued against the members of the House of Representatives currently on the background of the case investigated and referred to the Judiciary Commission. Investigation Department said statement received by the news. The defendant committed irregularities during his tenure as governor of Salah al-Din. Central Anti-Corruption Court issued warrants for the deputy governor of Salah al-Din. As long as you see
it's not receiving enough video for smooth streaming.
Do we have too many viewers?
It's buffering. It's having buffering issues. Not sure why.
Are you guys having a hard time seeing us? Tell April now.
Carol said the sound is much better. Thank you. So.
Okay.
That's a good thing. I think we just have to shut the YouTube thingy. Like. I don't know what that is, but let's see if we can keep it on OBS. 1 second. Okay, go for it.
Okay. So, while the change rate tends to indicate the number of units, the purchasing power, when reduced, enhances the purchasing power of the monetary unit. We talked about this before. As they start to enhance the capability of the dinar within the space, you're going to see the dinar enhance in value. Significant effect of the currency fluctuation or change has a spectrum floating system and a multi-spectrum fixed exchange system. Remember, we talked a lot about a float and a peg, okay? Now, it's a rare monetary authority to clearly state the nature of their exchange system. So what they're telling you is, we're not naturally going to tell you what we're going to do, whether it be a float or a peg. However, it will be determined by specialists on the basis of exchange system and the specific spectrum. Depending on what fits their country better, they're going to either peg it or float it. They just told you. My theory about either peg it to $1 or peg it to a basket is going to come true. The real world exchange of buying power. We've talked about that. Iraqi Business Perspective had a great quote, if you read it recently, and derived for that business perspective, part 2 in Iraqi Energy Institute. They kind of clearly stated, for patient investors, Iraq represents vast untapped potential, right? They listed the 2 things that were solely the biggest things for their potential. Number 1 was the ISX, and number 2 was their currency. So I think for people that are looking for a understanding of where you are within this investment, if you cited that IraqiEnergy.org, you would see that there were only 2 things for this calendar year that they were truly looking for untapped potential. 1 was the ISX, and 2 was their currency. Okay? The Kurds are telling everybody that the head of the Kurdistan parliament represents Baghdad, that the region will deliver 250,000 barrels per day to SOMO in exchange for granting them 12.6. Now, we talked about them getting anywhere from about 10 points to 12.7. They sell at 12.6. There's no way they're getting 22 point whatever. They can't feasibly pay for it. That's why they're not going to get it. Now, that's important because the allocation of the budget has to really reprimand what they're going to give the people based upon the HCL and Article 140, right? Now, based upon that, you got to understand, after years of banking collapse, Iraq launches a company to guarantee depositors of their money with the law. So, part of the big thumbnail tonight was the Iraqi Bank Guarantees Depositors Law. And that got implemented today. Okay? That's a big deal. According to the law, the Iraqi Company of Guarantees of Deposits does not supervise cash deposits for the value of credit facilities. With the central bank, the legal reserves for the banks, deposit the members of boards, contributing banks and bank deposits, deposits in other banks. Hang on here, let's see what I had for you guys. Basically, they've never had a law that suited them, that guaranteed that people that put money into the bank up to a certain amount, just like we do here in America, it would guarantee them that their money was safe from being ravaged or pillaged because of failure, because of the bank, some type of corruption, bank failure, the system, whatever. That law was crucial in enacting the safety of our deposits into an American bank, because that money that goes deposited within all the Iraqi citizens now is guaranteed. Does that make sense? So for us, that law today was like basically saying our money's guaranteed by the Iraqi government. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Huge, huge, huge bomb. Huge. And that should be celebrated everywhere right now. In Kurdistan right now, they're saying there's 80% of the completion of the oil and gas law, and it's ready to be voted on. 80% of the oil and gas law was ready to be voted on in Parliament. It has been agreed upon, and it's ready to be voted on, noting that another important law is the Federal Service Council law. Remember, I've always told you guys about federalism within Iraq, because federalism is what they're trying to achieve. I don't care what anyone else is really telling you guys about right now. If they're not talking about them becoming their own federal state, which means that they're not worried about Islam, they're not worried about government or sectarianism, that the federal institution itself is governing the nation, and those entities are sovereign, and they stand upon their own. That's going to be the key for those guys stepping forward into the forefront and giving them the ability for those commissions or those committees to make decisions not based upon religion, but based upon things that are going to make the country move forward. And that's huge for the country.
Sammy D wants to know, are we still in a good spot?
Oh my God, yes! The passage of one more law or two more laws, and man, if we see the federal acts law go forward, the federal administration law, and you see the election law, I'll tell you more about the federal acts law, the federal administration law. I want to talk more about that in a relaxed setting. I'll probably talk more about that on Patreon, if that's okay with you. And then I'll probably talk more about the other laws on YouTube because they're a little bit looser. But once you get one, you get them all. That makes you solely Article 8 compliant. Not who controls what, because if they controlled what would be done? So I don't care what anybody says about who controls what about the investment. They don't, because if those things were true, the investment would be complete. But it's not complete, because you know why? Because they don't control anything. Laws control everything. Policy controls everything. Okay? That's how the real world works. Not that I'm a dictator and I control the world. That the world works among a group of dictators and they decide all the things that happen within the world. I'm not saying they're not dictators. I'm saying that those dictators actually agree upon laws, and those laws are within a framework that helps the world, not just their country. Okay? Now, they unified the retirement law. The ministry's official spokesperson said there's a number of laws included. Law of the First Amendment of the Unified Retirement Law. Second Amendment of the Provincial Law, that's important. The Council Elections Law, that's important. The number also included laws of number 219, Council of the Financial Concessions Law, and the law of Iraqi National Committee. That's not important. But what I'm saying is everything that has anything to do with provincial law or election law is super important to what's happening to us and why it's inhibiting us from seeing the realization of the investment right now. Because all those provinces and all those states and all those bigger pictures are all based upon federalism. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, federal law is based upon a big governing body managing smaller governing bodies, all the way down to counties and all the way down to counties, basically. County, city, state, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it gets bigger, bigger, bigger. That's how it really works. And that's what Iraq is trying to achieve, but they had to clear the corruption out of all those areas, and that's what they're doing now. And they're prosecuting, and the U.S. is prosecuting the people that are out there trying to do bad things to the citizens that are demanding those things amongst the government that's in seated right now. Insert bomb right here. Now,
they put the laws in the Gazette?
Yes, they did. They're under the Gazette. I read that the other day. They just ordered 9 ministers and their ranks, including current and 5 former ministers, in addition to 2 previous ministers, explaining that the orders have included 12 ministers of the House of Representatives, 10 members of the current session, as well as current deputies, former ministers, and 2 previous ones. They're all being charged against corruption, either wasting public money, doing acts against humanity, they're against their own ministries, they're doing things that are bad, and you know what they're doing? They're prosecuting them. They're not letting things go. There's no stone unturned. So when people tell you that nothing's happening, you tell them reading's fundamental. You should read more. Because Mr. Brando, he can show you. He's got show notes. We got lots of articles to substantiate what we're reading. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And with that, we go to the next part. The names nominated for Prime Minister, I don't care what anybody tells you, are not yet public. They're not going to announce any of the names of the people that are going to be named for Prime Minister. You want to know why? Why? Because they have to be for the people. The people have no person to negotiate with. The only person that you can negotiate for the people of Iraq, insert bomb right here, keep filming, you know who that is? Sistani. Because Sistani is only the true person in Iraq that represents the people of Iraq. And he's not even Iraqi. He's not Iranian Ayatollah. That's truth. The only person they can negotiate with being a government with would be Sistani. And Sistani would negotiate with government because he's not a part of government. Let that settle in for a minute.
I'll wait. Sammy D says, I would trip if that rate is 1.1.
No, Sammy, you should trip if that rate is 3.9. But that's to be seen and said. Okay? Not saying it is or isn't. I'm just saying.
Mr. Brando, I'm so interested in your opinion in how, if this WTO thing will affect our investment.
Ha ha! Glad you mentioned it. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I have your whole WTO explanation. Okay? I have it all.
We get that tonight?
Tonight. In like one article. Give me one article.
Okay.
Cut. Start now. Sources familiar with news informed that the meeting taking place is presence of all major parties in the countries. A caretaker head earlier called the House of Representatives a political force to form a new government with full powers and the desire of government not to run the direction of affairs. What Mahani's telling you is stop playing games, allow the government to play itself out. The budget has to pass because it's for the citizens. The budget's truly not for the government. It's for the citizens. The stuff that's in the budget's for the citizens. Do you see the play on words? Mm-hmm. The budget's for the citizens. What's in the budget's for the citizens. What's in the budget? For the citizens. Do you understand where I'm going with that? That's a huge bomb. He's telling you, don't stop the budget because it's for the citizens. Why are you hearing what's going to happen to the citizens? Mahdi was a sacrificial lamb. He's gone. He ain't coming back. So don't impede the progress for the citizens. Okay?
Have you talked to your insider in Iraq? What's he saying?
Stuff I can't see on here.
Yeah, stuff.
I know a lot about Iraq that I will never see on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm just being real. That's Patreon business. Join Patreon. www.patreon.com/Mr. Brando. I play it all the time. You want to hear what he talks about? Yeah, it's real. I'm not getting criticized on here for that. Now, do you want to know about the WTO?
Nicole wants to know.
Nicole.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Nicole been bugging me about this all day. I'm going to give her an answer. Nicole brought up a valid point. She sent me some articles today. Okay? As of 6 months this year, 2019, the USA has trade talks in Iraq about their full ascension into the WTO and recommends to the WTO that there is a full implement of their body into it immediately. Okay? During the meeting, Iraq and the United States discussed a range of bilateral trade and investment issues. U.S.-Iraq cooperation in these areas aims at further interrogation Iraq into the global economy, seeking ways to promote greater reciprocal market access, thereby creating jobs, attracting investment to both countries. In regards to the United States, expressed to its support Iraq's decision to re-engage in the ascension process into the WTO process to undertake the domestic reforms. That's the main thing right there. Domestic reforms. Insert a lot of bombs. Required to conform to the WTO obligation to liberalize tariffs and trade services. The United States also expressed its support for the decision by Iraq to accept tax declarations prepared according to international financial standards. Now, we talked about this. Remember, they had to have tax before they can get into the WTO. Now, let's talk about 6 months later. Okay? Trump may have crippled the WTO, and here's why the most liked have not been. This is why the WTO has not been back in Iraq. Okay? Over the past 2 years, Washington has blocked the WTO appointing new members to a crucial panel that hears appeals, then trade disputes. Only 3 members are left on the 7-member body. The minimum needed to hear cases, and 2 members' terms expire. Administration blocking any replacements. There will be no official resolutions for many international trade disputes. The loss of the world's primary trade referee could turn the typically deliberate process of resolving international trade disputes into a free-for-all, paving the way for outbreaks of tit-for-tat tariff wars. It also could be said the demise of the 24-year-old trade organization itself, since the system for settling disputes has long been its most effective part. The reason why the WTO has not been back in Iraq is because it's been basically dismantled in the last part of it, not because of Trump. It happened with Bush. It happened with Obama, regardless of what anybody says. The last part in the final blow was with Trump. And that's why you did not see them there, because they don't have enough panel members there for the full ascension of Iraq. And they did 6 months ago when Trump told them to do it. That's the truth. And that's the news.
Okay. Trying to see. Does anyone have any questions? I'm sorry, I missed so many trying to deal with the mic issue.
Are the WTO are they thugs? Yeah, they thought they were thugs until this final blow, and now they're nothing more than a bunch of old guys sitting around looking for a job. They're kind of like the United Nations. The United Nations is on the same path as the WTO. They're an outdated system that's really not based upon a fair market economy, because it's based upon one governing body having all the power. Fair market economy is that you and I make a deal, we settle upon it, there's no tariffs, there's no bullcrap, and we trade upon our dollars. Our dollars have to make sense at that point. Everybody can't be at 5 cents and I be at $1. Trade has to make sense. And that's why I say trade will get you there, policy will get you there, laws will get you there. Everything else is rhetoric.
80% of the HCL is done?
That's what they say in the news. I think 90% of the HCL is done. All it needs is enacting and implemented. And we know that they've been doing that because they had a census in Basra. And that census in Basra was a test census. Why would you have a test census? What does that mean? You don't have test census. You have a census or you don't. Right. They've had a census there for 10 years.
Never heard of any such thing as a test census.
And that's why I say that everything's completed as far as the implementations go. They have to enact the things that are ready to go. Therefore, we can see off the test census if it's real. You see what I'm saying? If your numbers are correct. Where does your information place you on an RV? Nowhere, because I don't believe in RVs. There's no such thing as an RV. To me, in this investment, there's a reinstatement. When will they reinstate their currency? Between now and when they do. Because that's the way the news prints it. You guys don't understand. There's certain packages that are out there as far as information goes that if you take the time to read them, I don't say you guys don't. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that if you take the time to read them, everything's in place for a radical change economically to happen to justify their GDP growth. Because you can't justify it just off oil revenue, right? Mm-hmm. Something has to happen in the private sector. But the private sector actually accounts for about 34 to 40% of their GDP. You can't have a non-existent GDP, but it's 40% of your private sector. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So come on, guys. Don't listen to what the news says. Listen to what your heart and mind says about the investment and where it truly is. Because your first mind is truly your right mind. It's not made up. You can read about it. Hold on. Sharon says, so really, how close are we to the RI? And also, where can I go to see these articles? Sharon, you can look at these articles all day long. They're all over my pages on Mr. Brando. They're on my Twitters. I post them all the time. If you're in any of my private groups here also, I talk about them now on Spotify, so you can go there. They're in my descriptions. You just got to go do the work. can't carry you and spoon feed everybody at the same time.
Sammy D said next time I go to Starbucks, try the ham and cheese. I get the low-fat turkey bacon, Sam, when I do get it. Thank you, Robert.
No, hold on. I care what they call the investment, because if it's a revaluation, that's a lop. I care exactly what they call it.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't want platinum investments. No, I care exactly what they call it.
Where do you see that?
Platinum investments just said, I don't care what they call it, just do it. No. Care exactly what they call it. Because if they lock my investment, I will throw all this equipment away and start over
Wait a minute.
on a whole new country.
Do the local banks have the De La Rue machines ready?
Listen, no code in a De La Rue machine is loaded. I don't care if they have every De La Rue machine in the world. There's not a code loaded in it. Because I have a friend in California that has a De La Rue machine. There's no codes for it. Mr.
B, how much do you think the dong will go for and when?
Join Patreon. I'll tell you all day long.
Oh, okay. And Dog says, how about a wealthy green Christmas gang?
Man, listen. How about a wealthy green future? Because listen to this. It's not just this investment that can make you wealthy. You may only have $25,000 an hour. I'm in this for that guy. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm going to do a video this week. I'm telling y'all now. I'm going to do a video this week for the new guy. If you got $10,000 an hour or less, I'm going to do a video for this week just for you. If I were you and I only had $50 to spend sparingly, and I was going to invest in one thing, and it would be the Iraqi Dinar, and why I think it's the best freaking investment ever, and why I would do it, I'm going to do that video, and none of you guys will watch it, I get it. But for that guy that's only got $100 or $200, $200,000, that guy should watch that video. I'm doing it Thursday. That solves it for me.
Thank you, Raymond. I'll check on that. Maximum play. The last 2 hours of the constitutional deadline will see the next prime minister decision resolved.
And here's the question for that. How many times have they broken the Constitution to befit their own needs? So don't be surprised if they don't have a prime minister in 2 hours. Or tomorrow. Or Wednesday. If they do Wednesday, awesome. I hope so. But I won't be disappointed if they don't. You know why? Because it's Iraq. You got to go to the floor and adjust. And research and find the people and adjust. By them not listing any candidate, I'm glad because we can't do our due diligence. My guy in Iraq won't tell me who the next prime minister is besides one guy. I like that for me because these are keeping their mouth shut. If you keep your mouth shut about who the next prime minister is, don't you think you're keeping your mouth shut about other things?
Okay.
That's my last bomb.
All right.
Can that be the news?
That is the news.
Can they go see this on Spotify?
I gotta check the sound quality.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like we may have a mic issue. I am looking at mics while I'm sitting here now, and we were going to order another Yeti mic.
Okay.
So that'll be on its way.
Okay.
Because it sounds like that mic may possibly be out.
Okay. Mic will be out. We'll get a new mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why I moved it off the table, they said they could hear the tapping. So, yeah, I think the mic may be on its way out.
Well, our 1 year anniversary, I just want to tell you guys one thing. Thank you for sticking in there. Thank you for hanging in there. I'm so glad to get back to just the news. I'm so glad to get just back to Miss BB and me. No interruptions, no craziness, no nuttiness, no arguments, just us. And I love it, and I appreciate all y'all for taking the time out 1 hour, 3 times a week to be a part of a gang. And you know what? I feel good. Gang, 1 year anniversary.
Girl gang coming.
What?
Girl gang coming.
What is that, girl gang? What does that mean?
Girls on the grind. We coming.
Girl on the grind?
Why you make that face? Girls
what does
on
it mean?
The world.
Is that on Spotify, Mr. Brando?
It's about to be. You don't know. You was the test market for the girls on the grind.
Join Spotify, gang. Love you guys. Shout out 1 year anniversary. Thank you guys. The news keeps coming.
Shout out my girl team. Susan, Bethany, and Lisa. And Hope. Now.
Shout out Angela, Daz.
Oh yeah,
Dennis,
Angela.
The crew, Circle Gang. You know who you are. Gang. All them Coin Gang members. all them. You know what? I'm telling y'all this. Shout out Patreon through the griminess, everything.
Shout out the Kanga Gurus, the gang. Okay.
Oh, volume's too high. We turn it down.
The volume's all the way down now.
Yeah.
It's
oh look, girl gang, they going nuts.
Yep, girl gang. Girls on the grind.
CV, you say gang. Man, thank you guys, man, so much, man. I can't even say thank you enough for just everything the years brought. I'll take 10 minutes to say thank you. And I'm glad we're off all the crazy stuff. I'm so glad it's just us now. I'm so glad it's just
That's right, Nicole. Gang.
No more, you know what?
Keep it positive.
I'm going to be positive. What are you talking about?
Gang. What up, Mother 12? Margarita M, say hi to your son.
Shout out to the real ones.
Thank you, Eugene. Gang. And on that note, Daisy, I know. Thank you, Landon.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Have an awesome night.